Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where we have a small amount of repair to do over quite a large number of units. It'll take a little bit of time, but nowhere near the 14 days that Yang was talking about. So that'll be absolutely okay. We're only 1 day away at this point. Now, Plato did get fairly injured, so we're going to have to bring a substitute mech warrior, but let's hop into the barracks and see what promotions we can get done, if any. Well, Dan can get a promotion, and that is the avatar that he drives. Okay, so the avatar would absolutely be good for reducing recoil as well as clustering. That's kind of awkward because we have to choose between clustering or recoil. And I think if I have to choose there, I'm going to take the clustering when it also includes a 25% critical hit chance. So we're going to grab Bandit, and that'll be absolutely fine. Bandit is just so powerful. You really want those crits. No doubt about it. Let's grab a point of piloting for Gorgon, and what else do we have here? Well, we've got GV, who can grab a point of gunnery. That is phenomenal. We're very glad about that. Klist can grab a point of tactics. Amazing.
I've got your back.
What else do we have here? A point of guts for Romeo. Sounds good. For Rook, a point of tactics. Excellent. Absolutely fantastic for an artillery driver. Savarok and Squire don't really have anything. Succubus can get a point of guts. That's not a big deal. It's okay. And Weaselcakes has nothing that he can do yet. Although he's getting pretty close to maxed out, he's not quite there yet. So let's hop into the command center and see what we've got available. We've got 14 days left in this financial report. And we just did one that was kind of similar to this, although it wasn't a solo duel. It didn't give us a lot of pay, but it took us a while to get through. Like, in terms of play time, not in terms of, like, in-game time. So there is that. There's this defend base mission, which could be interesting. Who's the op for here? This is for Steiner, but who's the op for? Planetary Government. Actually, I kind of want to do this. We can sit right here, get the full 2 million C-bills. This will nearly pay for our financial report. When we combine it with the last one, it definitely will. So that seems fine. Of course, Plato is currently out. He was out before. We're running Savarok as the pilot here. Plato, I believe, because we lost the Grasshopper, we determined was going to be demoted to a sub-pilot. So that's absolutely okay. In that case, we're ready to deploy this as is. So let's see what we've got. Yeah, we've got some underweight mechs. That's understood. There's not a lot we can do about that. Darius doesn't think this will be hard, so we'll see after the loading screen. So here we are all loaded up, and let's see what we've got to deal with here. We know that there's going to be a base, and there will be some turrets. We'll see if the AI will actually activate the turrets this time. That would be nice. And we know that this is where the Vanguard is coming in from. That's actually a really interesting spot for us here. They're going to be coming in from this way. The Vanguard is definitely here. So we want to spawn 100% right up over here. So we're going to do exactly that. That's the Archer. I actually want the Archer to be down over here. This is the Epi Prime. This is a fine spot for that. In fact, pretty much everybody can spawn right down over here, and it's no problem at all. We'll just move them where we want them to go. So that'll be fine. Let's see what is in this Vanguard lance. Okay, so we have an allied Atlas here. We see an Assassin that is our ally. We also see a Jaeger, a Wolverine, a Hunchback, and an Archer. This is not a very scary lance at all.
Ready for
Okay,
order.
so our crossbow is absolutely going to get into this cover over here and get into some amount of LOS. Beyond that, we've got our crossbow X, which wants to also move up and engage a little bit. Right up over here is okay. It would appear that we're having a little bit of line of sight issue from this area, so that is a little concerning. But as we approach, that should be fine. So this was a Mackie and a Banshee. Okay, that's pretty decent, all things considered. That's a Thumper turret. We've got a light standard turret. That's that Assassin, a standard LRM turret, and a heavy AC turret. Okay, not too bad, all things considered. I'm going to put the SPG up on the hill here. And let's move our Archer forward here. I want to position it somewhere around here for now. We might have to move them forward a little further to make it to this ridge, but that's okay. The Black Knight would be attracting a lot of fire here. I'm just going to position it here. That looks good. That's in cover. And up comes that Banshee, as expected. Beautiful. So next up would be our Rifleman. We want our Rifleman to take up a position on the crest of this hill here, if we can. And then our Marauder, which is just going to advance forward up over here and brace. That'll be absolutely fine. That Atlas is moving forward. I like this positioning of the Atlas. The Atlas is absolutely going to be drawing fire here. That's really solid. Wolverine moving up the hill there.
Commander.
Okay. We'll absolutely take that. I'm going to put the Epi Prime right here. And we've got a really good position to deal with this Vanguard. Now, the Nidhogg is going to start accelerating up out over this way. I'm not going to burn much ammo at all on this Lance from the Nidhogg. The Devastator can position here, but it's next round when that's going to be an interesting position. And then the Avatar can position up over here in cover.
No shooting.
Okay, so next up will be their Jaeger, which actually advanced up really far. That's a huge target for us right now. Okay, I'm going to position our Devastator here. And what are they going to move next? These also move really late in the move order, I'm noticing. Huh. Well, this might be a very simple mission. We'll see. So next up, of course, is going to be our ally. And this is going to be probably that Wolverine. Or rather, that Assassin, I should say. So the ally Lance only has 2 units. Is that correct? And then there's this Lance over here that also has 2 units. So that's basically 1 Lance. They're hitting the Archer here. That's fine. The Archer is covered and braced at this moment. Most of these mechs are going to be in that situation. The Wolverine is a little exposed, as is the Jaeger, which is missing some of its lasers. Okay, that's noted. Intriguing.
I hear ya.
So our Archer wants to step forward, and this is direct LOS, but it's blocked LOS. I'm going to take it, and we're going to fire on this Jaeger, although hit odds are very low right now. This is due to minimum range. Okay, so we might not want to actually fire on the Jaeger with the Archer here due to the Artemis missiles. We're probably significantly better off firing on the Wolverine here. This is covered and braced, so I want to fire on that Wolverine instead. Light him up. Good side arc damage into the Wolverine. I like it. Next up is our Rifleman. And the Rifleman is honestly going to stay exactly where it's at, and we're just going to shoot at that Jaeger. Light him up.
All weapons are go.
We did stray shot the Atlas a little bit in its rear arc, but it's fine, I'm sure. It's not too upset about that. And the Jaeger has taken a fair amount of front arc damage from that. I like it. Next up would be the Black Knight, which I want to advance somewhere around here.
I'm going.
It's in cover there, and it can fire on the Archer, although that's not a good idea. We're going to fire on the Jaeger. We may stray shot the Atlas again, and if we do, we'll be sad, but let's see what we get done. Only 1 pulse laser into the Atlas rear arc there, so that's all good. No problem at all. Next up is, well, actually, we did a lot of armor damage to that Jaeger there. It's not going to last much longer. Next up is our crossbow. We could position our crossbow here. It would be slightly vulnerable. Alternatively, we could position it like here and still maybe hit the stray shot on the Atlas. I'm going to fire on this Jaeger, though, and this is going to do a lot of damage, but it's probably not going to cluster very well. Yeah, as expected. So that's a lot of armor damage to that Jaeger, but it is very spread out, right? Now we need some focused damage on this thing, and the crossbow is not really the target for that. Especially since we put this in here, and yeah, we're just better off firing on this Wolverine. So we're going to continue to do that. Ammo explosion on the Wolverine, and that's going to be a knockdown on that Wolverine. So he is not doing well at all. Actually, no, that was only a torso destruction. So the Banshee moves up and positions just outside of the escort zone. Hopefully they actually trigger the turrets this time. Okay. That Hunchback firing on the mech there, but actually hitting the base. I'm going to move up the Epi Prime here. I kind of want to go for the Wolverine here. So let's fire on that Wolverine. That is going to be a dead Wolverine, I'm pretty sure. That's a leg destruction into a knockdown. I'm a little surprised he survived that. Okay, pilot ejection. There we go. So the Mackie is moving forward. It's nowhere near the escort zone.
Yes,
At this point, the Marauder is going to break cover, and it's going to position
Moving
here
out.
to hit the Jaeger's side arc, and this is going to do a lot of focus damage into what is actually the strong side here, but the Jaeger's armor is very low. So we took out a double heat sink there, and we succeeded in
That's going to
tagging it.
hurt.
We also made the Jaeger unsteady. He doesn't move until phase 13, and the Atlas moves now. So the Atlas is likely going to finish off that Jaeger. Why would you move here with your Atlas? That's a terrible call. Maybe he's upset about us stray-shotting his rear arc. That is a distinct possibility.
Commander.
I'm going to move up with the Nidhogg, and I don't want to actually hit the rear arc here. I'm going to position here. I'm only firing the snub-nose PPC.
Got it.
Okay. That didn't do a lot of damage there. Mostly because we hit the arm. Okay, the Jaeger moves up, and let's see what he's going to do. Going for our rifleman. That's a fair number of hits, to be sure.
Commander.
Barrow trauma, huh?
I'm here.
I don't think we're bleeding out, though, so it's all good. Next up would be our SPG. The SPG is absolutely going to drop artillery on this archer. Light him up.
I copy.
Rear arc damage there, huh? Okay. We also splashed down over here, so that's good. Next is going to be this archer moving, and let's see him fire here on the Nidhogg. Okay, that's not a very good target for him, to be honest. There are definitely better targets, but they're in a really bad position here overall.
Spaniel.
There's not a lot for them to do. So the Jaeger... Did the Jaeger die? I don't see the Jaeger. I don't remember it dying, but maybe it did. Okay. Presumably this is it. Yes. Maybe I just completely blanked that out. It happened moments ago, and I have no memory of it. Okay, we're going to fire on this archer.
Firing on target.
Ooh, we missed both autocannons on 71% chance. That's unfortunate. I'm going to move in this Devastator as well, though, and we're going to position that right here. So that can fire on the Hunchback, or it can fire on the Archer. The Archer is the better hit odds by far, and we're going to try this again. We hit both of those autocannons on 75%, so that's much better. A lot of armor damage to that
Waiting
Archer.
on you, Commander.
So next up is the Avatar, and that's going to move up
You
right in
betcha.
here. We're going to hit that Archer with everything we've got here.
Commencing Alpha Strike.
That is very likely to make it unsteady. Also a structure exposure there. Okay, where is that structure exposure?
Let's get this done, team.
Okay, in the right torso. Noted. That's absolutely fine. So the assassin is moving up here and firing on that archer in that right torso. I like it. It must have broken through the armor on the leg there. Upper leg destruction.
Waiting on you,
Well, our
Commander.
archer can absolutely break cover here for a cleaner LOS
you, Commander.
right
Moving
into
out.
this weakened side arc, and this archer probably dies to this.
Firing everything I've got.
And there he goes. Fantastic. So -1 archer there, and next up will be the Hunchy. There's not all that much left here. He'll die to focused fire very quickly. So our crossbow X can barely get into position here, but we absolutely want to do that. We're going to fire standard missiles on this Hunchback. That's going to do a lot of front arc damage to it. He is in cover, of course. But that's okay. That's a significant armor reduction. I don't know what unit... Oh, they're doing this again. Stopping just outside the escort zone. Hopefully this Mackie makes it in. Also, I don't know what's going on with those threes, but whatever.
Ready for
Next
order.
up would be our Black Knight. We're going to position it right here, and we're going to fire in binary laser mode right on the front arc of that Hunchback. Ooh, we missed the binary laser. That's unfortunate, but it was a 63% chance. We rolled the dice and lost on that one. Okay, next up is this Atlas, and what's he going to do? Firing indirect on that Hunchy. That's not very helpful, but I guess it's something.
Yes.
Our crossbow wants to get into a direct LOS, ideally, but realistically, we can fire indirect on this.
Moving out.
We're in standard ammo, and I'm going to go ahead and fire that. It's only 23% hit odds, but we'll give it a go. Okay.
Order.
Next up is our Marauder. Our Marauder wants to get a direct LOS for sure. I guess this is okay.
Roger
We'll be
that.
firing over this Devastator. Hopefully we don't stray shot it too much. That was a lot of stray shot into that Devastator.
I can't take much more of this.
Yeah, that was a really bad shot there. That did a lot of rear arc damage to the Devastator. Luckily, it spread out and didn't all hit the same point, because that could have been really, really bad. Let's put the Epi Prime right about here and fire on that Hunchy. Reasonable-ish hit odds. At the very least, we'll make him unsteady. We'll get a couple crits in there, maybe. A structure exposure. He actually isn't unsteady, remarkably. But next up is going to be our Nidhogg. And the Nidhogg is going to close in out over here, once again, firing that snub-nose PPC. That'll definitely make the Hunchy unsteady. Also getting some internal damage there. Now, our Marksman SPG can fire. I'm not going to fire it here.
Position confirmed.
We're too close. So next up is going to be that Hunchy. Who's he going to shoot at? Shoots at the Epi Prime with that UAC-10.
I'm under heavy
The
fire.
Epi Prime is okay. No actual issues with that one. So the Mackie moves up and is not within this escort zone yet. Hopefully they actually go in, but honestly, the odds on that feel kind of low. We don't have anywhere we can put this Devastator and get LOS, so I'm going to pull it back. We're going to have additional units dropping in soon. So our Rifleman is just going to brace for the moment.
What can I do for you?
This Avatar is not able to get LOS here either, so we're going to pull it back.
Pedal to the metal.
There we go.
Commander?
Next up is this Devastator, which is also not able to get any LOS here. Remarkable.
Affirmative.
I would have expected this to be LOS on that Hunchy. I guess we have to be here. Okay.
Come on, Neck Warriors. It's go
Very
time.
strange. Well, next up would be
Good
our
to go.
Archer, and the Archer can fire indirect here. It might actually do a fair amount of damage, but we should probably consider backing it off. Yeah, this is
You
not
betcha.
in ideal range. This is in fact, our dead zone.
How's it going?
So I don't want to do that. I don't want to fire our crossbows
Holding
missiles
here.
either. Next up is going to be this Phase 22 mover, the Assassin. Lobbing some indirect missiles at that Hunchback, getting absolutely nothing done.
Got your
That's
back.
okay. The Crossbow X is in LOS right now. Let's light him up. I don't feel like we need to fire all of these MRMs. I think that that's wasteful. Let's do this.
Roger. I'll break him in two.
UAC crit,
That
engine heat
was a
sink crit.
critical
We
hit,
didn't
lad.
quite get the crits we were looking for, but the pilot ejected anyway. So that is perfect. Next up, we're going to start turning our mechs around and sinking heat. So we don't know where
Hey, wait
the
your command.
next two Lances are going to come
On the
in,
way.
but they're definitely going to come in. So we're going to turn this
How's it
thing
going?
around and start getting into position for
that.
hopefully dealing with those. Okay, so
Ready for
next up
orders.
is our Epi Prime, which I'm not going to sprint because it has some
Moving to position.
instability. There we go. That Mackie is... Okay, it actually moved in. The turrets are online. That's good. So next up, the Marksman SPG is just going to position here for the moment. And we're not expecting anybody to spawn until next round.
Receiving you.
So that's okay. The Rifleman is going to turn around and just brace here. That Atlas is also following us in
I'm
this
receiving
movement, so I like it. The Devastator can position right down over here. And we're in an
I hear ya.
okay-ish position, depending on where they spawn. If they spawn here, I'll be a little sad, but
Yes,
it's not
Commander.
the end of the world. We'll position this Devastator right here for
Copy
now.
that.
That's the best we can do. And very soon now, this round will end.
Got eyes on
Okay, so here comes the reinforcements
Heading
as
your
expected. Down over there.
Let's do this. Let's go.
Okay, there's definitely two Lances, though, right? Definitely. We need to update our
What can I do
sensors.
for you?
I'm going to reserve. I'm going to reserve a
Holding
lot.
action.
And we're going to allow our ally to move, and they will update our sensors for us. Then we can determine where we want to put things. Okay, so it's going to be the assassin that moves right now, which that's this guy here. Uh-huh. Two heavy bombers right over here. So we see a Nidhogg and a Nifrit. It's spawning basically right on top of us, which is a little bit rude. I don't see the units that are apparently down here as of right now. So,
Good to go.
hello, that's a hunchback right there. And then a marauder. So this is one of the two lances. The hunchback we can clean up very, very quickly. We need to get our archer moved slightly back here. And we need to fire on one of these, for sure. It's going to be on this Ifrit because it's further back. We're going to trigger a lot of AMS here. And that's exactly what we want to see, is AMS triggers. Okay, so that's one set of AMS triggers. In fact, there have been two. And they're going to get to move these heavy bombers quite early on. So this is potentially going to be a large amount of damage to us. This Devastator may cease to exist. They might go rear arc on our Black Knight. We had no way to predict that there were going to be heavy bombers spawning right in our backline like this. So let's see what we've got here. Okay.
That shot got past my armor.
So that was
Better me than Lady Around.
interesting. That was very interesting. This Ifrit did not move, so it has no evasive. It's a lot easier to hit now. It fired on the rear arc of our Epimetheus, which is actually okay. It didn't manage to do any significant damage there, and the Epimetheus moves right now. So we can position the Epimetheus here, and we can go for the Ifrit, where we have very solid hit-ons. Now we're firing over our Black Knight here. This is not necessarily ideal, but these hit-ons are good enough that I think we take them.
For an alpha strike.
Okay.
Let's hit him hard.
So we managed to trigger the AMS again and do a fair amount of damage to it. That's looking okay. Phase 20 is going to be a mover down here that we don't know about, I think. Oh, the mine's missed down over this way. Okay, so they're firing on the standard LRM turret. I do not mind that in the slightest.
back.
The Black Knight is moving next, and I want the Black Knight to take cover-ish over here. Actually, I want the crossbow to move
Talk to
next.
me.
I want the crossbow to position out over this direction. We're going to fire on the Ifrit, and we're looking to overwhelm its AMS, which has already been triggered 3 times. We're going to fire all of our MRMs here in improved mode. Beautiful. The Ifrit's out of here. So there's nothing more that it can do. That looks really, really solid. Next up would be our Black Knight. Now, the Black Knight could fire on this Nidhogg. The Nidhogg hasn't moved yet. So we know that the Marauder is going to need to get turned around. We know that the Black Knight probably should move over this direction and melee the rear arc of this Hunchback. Hit odds are low, but if we manage to hit this melee, the Hunchback will likely die from this without ever moving. So we're going to take that shot. We missed the melee. That is unfortunate.
Negative damage.
We did get a fair amount of rear arc damage dealt to that Hunchback, but missing the melee was very unfortunate. Next, our crossbow is going to step back over here, and we're going to fire on this Nidhogg. We're not planning to do a lot of damage to it. We are going to fire in SAM mode, and the goal here is to trigger its AMS. We did get some damage dealt there, so that is okay. Now, it's going to get to move in phase 17. So our Marauder absolutely does need to get turned around. I want to take the rear arc attack on this Hunchback again, and we're going to give this a go. I'm not going to fire the UAC-5, but everything else here. And let's see if we can get this Hunchback taken down.
Engaging.
Successful melee that time. That's huge.
Well done.
Unfortunately, our lasers did not go well. But we did successfully melee the Hunchback, which means it's very much easier to hit. Okay, so next up is phase 17. This Mackie is going to move and do absolutely nothing at all. Now the Nidhogg and the Hunchy can move, and let's see what they do. So this Hunchy steps forward and fires rear arc on our Epimetheus. It gets a lot of crits there.
Bad one, I think.
Thermal vision, Beagle active probe gone. That is actually a lot of crits there. Okay. It's unfortunate. We lost a double heatsink there. We lost the Beagle active probe. We lost the endosteel structure. I mean, with them spawning right inside of our backline like this, it's not shocking that that can happen. Not shocking at all. So let's see what this Nidhogg does. This is the danger zone. Does it go for the Epi Prime as well? No, it's going for the heavy AC turret. Beautiful. It didn't move either. So this Nidhogg is in serious danger now. I like it. Let's see what our allied units do. I want to see them focus hard on that Nidhogg. Now, the Hunchback is... Where did that actually locate at? Yeah, go for that. Go for the Nidhogg. Absolutely. I think it hit absolutely nothing from that. Probably just stray-shotting its friends over there. There's a Marauder way down there. Okay, this is the Hunchy here. Noted. We are going to get to respond to that with our Avatar soon, and also with our Rifleman, so that'll be absolutely okay. No problem there. The Atlas moves up, and what is that going to shoot at? A Shadowhawk out there? So I've seen a Shadowhawk and a Marauder out here, but nothing too major as of yet. Next up, they're going to get to move this Marauder, firing on this medium reinforced building. Okay. That's absolutely fine by us for the moment. Cool. So now it's our turn, and we get to move again. However, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we're going to finish this off. I just want to check in here. This is a Hunchback, a Shadowhawk, and a Marauder. There's definitely something else out here, but we don't know what it is just yet. These guys dropping in on us in the rear arc was rude, but honestly, if all this Epimetheus damage is all we get, I'm happy with it. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Atala, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.